Hey there, you looking kinda cute. Don't forget to subscribe and check out my other socials for more. Enjoy. John anxiously scanned the arrivals board. His niece Sam's flight from California had just landed, and he felt a mix of excitement and nervousness about seeing her again after so many years. John's sister and her husband were on a year-long adventure in New Zealand, entrusting their child to his care during their absence. As passengers began streaming out of the gate, John's eyes darted from face to face, searching for a familiar one. Suddenly, he spotted someone who looked vaguely like Sam, but different from what he remembered. The person approaching him wore a flowy sundress in a soft peach color, paired with strappy sandals. Long, wavy hair framed a face adorned with subtle makeup. John blinked, momentarily confused. Then realization dawned on him as the young woman's eyes lit up with recognition. She quickened her pace, pulling a large rolling suitcase behind her. "Uncle John!" she called out, waving enthusiastically. John's surprise gave way to a warm smile as he opened his arms for a hug. "Sam, it's so good to see you. You look different than I expected." Sam returned the embrace, then stepped back with a slightly nervous smile. "Yeah, about that. I've been meaning to talk to you and Aunt Lisa. I hope it's okay, but I've started my transition. I use she, her pronouns now." John nodded, processing the information. "Of course, Sam. We're just happy to have you here with us. Let's grab your luggage and head home. We can talk more on the way." As they made their way to the baggage claim, John asked Sam about her flight and her parents' preparations for their big move. He made a conscious effort to use her correct pronouns, stumbling occasionally but quickly correcting himself. During the drive home, Sam filled John in on her journey of self-discovery and the steps she'd taken in her transition so far. John listened attentively, asking thoughtful questions and offering words of support. "I'm proud of you for being true to yourself, Sam," he said as they pulled into the driveway of his suburban home. "I want you to know that you're safe and accepted here. We might make mistakes sometimes, but we'll always love and support you." Sam's eyes welled up with tears of relief and gratitude. "Thank you, Uncle John. That means more than you know." As they entered the house, John's wife, Lisa, and their 2 sons, Mark and David, came to greet them. There was a moment of surprised silence as they took in Sam's appearance, but it quickly gave way to warm welcomes. Lisa stepped forward first, embracing Sam. "Welcome home, sweetie. We're so glad you're here." Mark and David, both in their late teens, exchanged glances before breaking into grins. "Awesome! We've always wanted a girl cousin," Mark joked, giving Sam a playful punch on the arm. David chimed in. "Yeah, now we can borrow your clothes." Sam laughed, the tension in her shoulders easing. "Dream on, boys. My wardrobe is off limits." As the family helped Sam bring her luggage upstairs to the guest room, John pulled Lisa aside. "Sam's going through some changes," he explained quietly. "She's transitioning and uses she, her pronouns now. I know it might take some getting used to, but it's important we support her." Lisa nodded, her brow furrowed slightly. "Of course, we'll support her. I admit I don't fully understand it all, but I'll do my best to learn." Just then, Betty, the family's longtime housekeeper, emerged from the kitchen. Her eyes widened as she saw Sam. "Is this little Sammy? My, how you've grown." Sam smiled warmly at the older woman. "It's good to see you, Betty. And yes, it's still me, just a little different now." Betty looked confused for a moment, but then her face softened into a kind smile. "Well, you look lovely, dear. I hope you still like my chocolate chip cookies. I've got a batch in the oven just for you." Over the next few days, the family began to adjust to Sam's presence and identity. John made a point of having one-on-one conversations with Sam, asking about her experiences and how they could make her feel more comfortable in their home. One evening, as they sat on the back porch watching the sunset, John broached the subject of Sam's parents. "Have you talked to your mom and dad about your transition? How did they take it?" Sam sighed, running a hand through her hair. "It was difficult at first. Mom cried a lot, and Dad didn't know what to say. But they're trying, you know. They've been seeing a therapist to help them understand and accept it. That's part of why they felt okay about leaving for a year. They thought it might be good for me to have some space to be myself without feeling like I'm constantly under their scrutiny. John nodded thoughtfully. That makes sense. I'm glad they're making an effort. And I want you to know that you can always come to me or Lisa if you need to talk, or if you're having a hard time. Sam smiled gratefully. Thanks, Uncle John. I really appreciate that. Meanwhile, Lisa had been doing her own research, reading books and articles about supporting transgender family members. She made an effort to use Sam's correct name and pronouns, apologizing quickly when she slipped up. One afternoon, Lisa found Sam in the kitchen, looking through the pantry. Hey, Sam, she said, leaning against the counter. I was thinking about going shopping tomorrow. Would you like to come with me? We could pick up some things for your room, maybe look at some clothes if you're interested. Sam's face lit up. Really? That would be amazing, Aunt Lisa. I'd love to. Lisa smiled, feeling a warmth spread through her chest at Sam's excitement. Great. It's a date then, and maybe you can give me some fashion tips. I could use a fresh perspective. The shopping trip turned out to be a bonding experience for both of them. Sam helped Lisa choose a few new outfits, while Lisa encouraged Sam to try on clothes that made her feel confident and comfortable. They laughed together in the dressing rooms and shared ice cream cones on the way home, their arms laden with shopping bags. Mark and David, for their part, quickly adapted to having Sam around. They introduced her to their friends, inviting her to join them for movie nights and video game tournaments. At first, some of their friends were curious about Sam, but the boys were quick to shut down any potentially hurtful comments. Sam's our cousin, and she's awesome, Mark declared firmly when one of his friends made an insensitive remark. If you've got a problem with her, you've got a problem with us. The friend looked abashed and quickly apologized. From that point on, Sam was simply accepted as part of the group. One weekend, the family decided to have a barbecue in the backyard. John manned the grill while Lisa prepared salads in the kitchen. Sam offered to help, and soon she and Lisa were chatting and laughing as they chopped vegetables together. Betty, who had been observing the family's interactions with Sam over the past week, approached John as he flipped burgers. You know, Mr. John, she said quietly, I must admit I was a bit confused about Sam at first, but seeing how happy she is, how well she fits in with the family, well, it's clear to me that this is who she was meant to be. John smiled warmly at the older woman. Thank you, Betty. That means a lot, and I know it would mean a lot to Sam, too. As the sun began to set, the family gathered around the patio table, plates piled high with food. Sam looked around at the smiling faces of her relatives and felt a sense of belonging she hadn't experienced in a long time. I just want to say, she began, her voice slightly trembling, how grateful I am to all of you. You've made me feel so welcome and accepted. I was really nervous about coming here, but you've all been amazing. Lisa reached over and squeezed Sam's hand. We're the lucky ones, sweetheart. Having you here has brought so much joy and love into our home. John raised his glass in a toast. To family, in all its beautiful, diverse forms. As everyone clinked their glasses together, Sam felt tears of happiness prick her eyes. She knew there would still be challenges ahead, but for now, surrounded by the love and acceptance of her family, she felt truly at home. The weeks turned into months, and Sam settled into a comfortable routine with her extended family. She enrolled in online classes to continue her education while staying with John and Lisa, and she quickly became an integral part of the household. One morning, Sam found herself helping Betty in the garden. The older woman had taken a shine to Sam, often seeking her company and asking thoughtful questions about her experiences. You know, Miss Sam, Betty said as they pruned the rose bushes together, I've been meaning to tell you something. When you first arrived, I was a bit confused. I didn't understand what it meant to be transgender. But seeing you these past months, how happy and confident you've become, well, it's opened my eyes. You've taught this old lady a thing or two about acceptance and love." Sam felt a lump form in her throat. She put down her pruning shears and hugged Betty tightly. "Thank you, Betty. Your support means the world to me." As autumn progressed, Sam's confidence continued to grow. She started volunteering at a local animal shelter, finding joy in caring for the abandoned pets. Her cousins often joined her, and together they would spend weekends walking dogs and playing with cats. One chilly afternoon, as Sam and Mark were returning from a dog walking session, they ran into a group of Mark's school friends. Sam tensed slightly, still sometimes nervous about meeting new people. Mark noticed her discomfort and squeezed her shoulder reassuringly. "Hey, guys," he called out to his friends. "This is my awesome cousin Sam I've been telling you about." To Sam's surprise and relief, the group welcomed her warmly. One girl even complimented her on her outfit, a cozy sweater dress with leggings and boots. "Thanks," Sam replied, a genuine smile spreading across her face. "I'm still figuring out my style, but I'm having fun experimenting." The girl nodded enthusiastically. "Well, you're nailing it. We should totally go shopping together sometime." As they walked home, Sam felt a warmth that had nothing to do with her sweater. "Thanks for that," she said to Mark. "For introducing me so casually, I mean." Mark shrugged. "That's what family does, right? We've got your back, Sam. Always." At home, John and Lisa were busy preparing for Thanksgiving. It would be the first major holiday with Sam, and they wanted to make it special. They invited some extended family members, carefully explaining Sam's situation to them beforehand to ensure everyone would be respectful and supportive. The day before Thanksgiving, Sam was helping Lisa in the kitchen when she received a video call from her parents in New Zealand. She answered nervously, still sometimes unsure of how to navigate her relationship with them. "Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad," she said, waving at the screen. Her parents' faces lit up. "Sam, oh, sweetie, you look wonderful," her mother exclaimed. "How are you doing?" As Sam chatted with her parents, sharing stories about her life with John and Lisa's family, she felt a sense of relief wash over her. Her parents were making an effort, using her correct name and pronouns, and genuinely seemed interested in her experiences. After the call ended, Lisa gave Sam a hug. "You okay?" she asked gently. Sam nodded, wiping away a few tears. "Yeah, I'm good. Better than good, actually. It's just nice to feel like my parents are really seeing me, you know." Lisa smiled, understanding. "I'm so glad, Sam. You deserve that acceptance from everyone who loves you." Thanksgiving Day arrived, bringing with it a flurry of activity, the house filled with the aroma of roasting turkey and baking pies. Sam helped set the table, arranging nameplates for each guest. She paused when she came to her own, running her fingers over the elegantly written Sam with a smile. As relatives began to arrive, John and Lisa made sure to introduce Sam properly, using her correct name and pronouns. There were a few awkward moments and some well-meaning but misguided questions, but overall the family rallied around Sam, making her feel included and loved. During dinner, as everyone went around the table sharing what they were thankful for, Sam felt her heart swell with emotion. When it was her turn, she took a deep breath and looked around at the faces of her family. "I'm thankful for all of you," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "For your love, your acceptance, and for giving me a safe place to be myself. I know this year has brought changes that maybe not everyone understands or is comfortable with, but you've all made such an effort to support me. I can't express how much that means." There was a moment of silence, then John raised his glass. "And we're thankful for you, Sam, for your courage, your honesty, and for trusting us with your true self. You've made our family richer and more loving." As murmurs of agreement and clinked glasses filled the room, Sam felt a sense of belonging she had once thought impossible. She caught Lisa's eye across the table and received a warm, motherly smile in return. After dinner, as the family relaxed in the living room, Sam's phone buzzed with a text from her parents. It was a photo of them in front of a beautiful New Zealand landscape, holding a sign that read, "We love you, Sam." Her heart swelled with joy as she showed the picture to John and Lisa. "Look at that," John said, grinning. "Seems like everyone's on board the Sam train now." Sam laughed, feeling lighter than she had in years. "Yeah, I guess they are." As the evening wound down and guests began to leave, each family member made a point of hugging Sam and telling her how glad they were to have her in the family. By the time the last guest had gone, Sam was emotionally exhausted but deeply content. She helped John and Lisa clean up, insisting on staying even when they tried to shoo her off to bed. As they worked together in comfortable silence, Sam felt a deep sense of gratitude wash over her. "Thank you," she said suddenly, causing John and Lisa to look up from their tasks. "For everything. For making this the best Thanksgiving I've ever had." Lisa put down the dish she was drying and pulled Sam into a hug. "Oh, sweetie, you don't need to thank us. This is what family does. We love you just as you are." John joined the hug, enveloping both of them in his arms. "Your Aunt Lisa is right, Sam. We're the lucky ones. You've brought so much joy and love into our home." As they finished cleaning up and prepared to head to bed, Sam paused at the bottom of the stairs. "You know," she said thoughtfully, "when my parents first told me I'd be staying with you for a year, I was terrified. I thought I'd have to hide who I am, or worse, that you'd reject me when you found out. But now—" She trailed off, smiling softly. "Now?" John prompted gently. "Now I can't imagine being anywhere else," Sam finished. "This feels like home." John and Lisa exchanged a look, their eyes shining with unshed tears. "It is home, Sam," Lisa said, "for as long as you want it to be." As Sam climbed the stairs to her room, she felt a sense of peace settle over her. She had found acceptance, love, and a place to truly be herself. Whatever challenges the future might hold, she knew she had a strong support system to help her face them. The next morning, Sam woke up to the sounds of laughter coming from downstairs. She stretched lazily, enjoying the warm cocoon of her bed for a few more minutes before getting up. As she dressed, choosing a comfortable sweater and leggings, she caught sight of herself in the mirror and smiled. The person looking back at her was finally the person she had always known herself to be. Downstairs, she found Mark and David engaged in a heated but good-natured debate over the last piece of pumpkin pie. Lisa was at the stove, whipping up a batch of pancakes, while John sat at the table, sipping coffee and reading the morning paper. "Morning, everyone," Sam said, sliding into a chair next to John. A chorus of good mornings greeted her, along with a steaming mug of hot chocolate that Lisa placed in front of her. "Sleep well, sweetie?" Lisa asked. Sam nodded, wrapping her hands around the warm mug. "Like a log. I think all that turkey finally caught up with me." John lowered his newspaper, grinning at her over the top of it. "Well, I hope you're ready for more food. Your Aunt Lisa seems to think we're feeding an army this morning." Lisa playfully swatted him with a dish towel. "Hey, we've got growing teenagers in this house. And besides," she added, winking at Sam, "leftover pie is a perfectly acceptable breakfast after Thanksgiving." As if on cue, Mark triumphantly held up the last slice of pumpkin pie. "Ha! Victory is mine!" David groaned dramatically. "No fair, you cheated. Did not." "Did too." Sam couldn't help but laugh at their antics. It felt so normal, so familial. She caught John's eye and saw him smiling fondly at the scene. "So," John said, turning to Sam, "any plans for today? I was thinking we could all go for a hike if the weather holds up." Sam nodded enthusiastically. "That sounds great. I could use some fresh air after all that food yesterday." The family spent the morning lounging around, digesting their breakfast and sharing stories from the previous day's celebrations. Sam found herself recounting some of the funnier moments, like when her great-aunt Mildred had mistaken the gravy boat for a peculiar-looking teapot. "I swear, I thought Uncle Bob was going to choke on his turkey when she started pouring gravy into her teacup." Sam giggled. The others roared with laughter, and Sam felt a warm glow of belonging. These moments of shared mirth, of inside jokes and family stories made her feel truly part of the family. After lunch, they all bundled up in warm clothes and headed out for their hike. The air was crisp and clean, with just a hint of winter on the breeze. As they walked along the wooded trail, Sam found herself falling into step beside Lisa. "You know," Lisa said softly so the others wouldn't overhear, "I've been meaning to thank you, Sam." Sam looked at her aunt in surprise. "Thank me? For what?" Lisa smiled, linking her arm through Sam's. "For trusting us, for being brave enough to be yourself with us. It's opened my eyes to so many things I never understood before. You've made our family stronger, more compassionate." Sam felt tears prick at her eyes, but she blinked them away, not wanting them to freeze on her cheeks in the cold air. "I should be thanking you," she said. "You and Uncle John. You've given me a safe place to land, to figure things out. I don't know where I'd be without you." Lisa squeezed her arm affectionately. "Well, then I guess we're even. Now, come on, let's catch up to those boys before they decide to veer off the trail in search of adventure." As they continued their hike, Sam found herself reflecting on the past few months. The fear and uncertainty she had felt upon arriving seemed like a distant memory now. In its place was a sense of security, of belonging that she had never experienced before. The trail led them to a clearing with a stunning view of the valley below. The family paused, taking in the breathtaking scenery. John pulled out his phone to snap a few photos.
"Hey, let's get a family picture,"
he suggested, setting up his phone on a nearby rock. As they gathered together, Sam felt a moment of hesitation. Would she look out of place in this family photo? But then Mark threw an arm around her shoulders, and David grinned up at her from where he stood in front, and her doubts melted away.
"Say cheese,"
John called as he hurried back to join them.
"Cheese,"
they all chorused, laughing as John nearly tripped over a root in his haste. Later that evening, as they sat around the fireplace sipping hot cocoa, John showed them the photos from their hike. When he got to the family picture, Sam felt her breath catch in her throat. There she was, nestled between her cousins, Lisa's arm around her waist, John's hand on her shoulder. She looked happy, natural, like she belonged. "That's a good one," Lisa said, leaning over to get a better look. "We should get it framed." Sam nodded, not trusting herself to speak past the lump in her throat. John seemed to sense her emotion and gave her shoulder a gentle squeeze. "You okay, kiddo?" he asked softly. Sam nodded again, more firmly this time. "Yeah," she managed. "I'm just really happy." As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, Sam found herself settling more and more into life with her extended family. The initial awkwardness and uncertainty had given way to a comfortable routine, punctuated by moments of joy, laughter, and occasional challenges. Winter arrived in full force, blanketing the neighborhood in a thick layer of snow. Sam, having grown up in California, was enchanted by the winter wonderland. She spent hours outside with Mark and David, building snowmen, having snowball fights, and attempting to master the art of sledding down the hill in the backyard. One particularly cold afternoon, as they trudged back into the house, cheeks red and noses running, Lisa greeted them with steaming mugs of hot chocolate and a plate of freshly baked cookies. "You three look like you've had quite the adventure," she said, laughing as they shook snow from their hair and clothes. Sam grinned, accepting the mug gratefully. "It was amazing. I've never seen so much snow in my life. We built this huge fort and had an epic battle with the neighbors." Mark chimed in. "Yay! And Sam's got a mean throwing arm. She pelted Tommy right in the face." "It was an accident," Sam protested, but she was laughing too. As they warmed up by the fire, recounting their snowy exploits, Sam felt a familiar warmth that had nothing to do with the hot chocolate or the crackling flames. This feeling of belonging, of being just another member of the family, never failed to fill her with gratitude. Later that evening, as Sam was getting ready for bed, she heard a soft knock on her door. "Come in," she called, assuming it was Lisa coming to say goodnight. To her surprise, it was John who entered, looking slightly nervous.
Hey, Sam, got a minute?
Sam nodded, sitting cross-legged on her bed. Sure, Uncle John. What's up? John sat down on the edge of the bed, fiddling with something in his hands.
Well, I've been thinking you've been with us for several months now, and, well, you've become such an important part of our family.
Sam felt a flutter of nervousness in her stomach.
Is everything okay?
John smiled reassuringly.
Everything's great, kiddo. In fact, that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about.
He held out what he'd been holding, a small wrapped package. This is for you. Curious, Sam unwrapped the gift. Inside was a delicate silver necklace with a small, heart-shaped pendant. As she examined it closer, she realized there was an inscription on the back.
Sam loved always. I know it's not much, John said, sounding uncharacteristically uncertain. But Lisa and I wanted you to have something permanent, something to remind you that no matter where you go or what happens, you'll always have a home with us.
Sam felt tears welling up in her eyes. She threw her arms around John, hugging him tightly. It's perfect, she whispered. Thank you so much. John hugged her back, his own eyes suspiciously moist.
You're welcome, Sam. We love you, kiddo. Never forget that.
As John left the room, Sam clasped the necklace around her neck, her fingers tracing the shape of the heart. She caught sight of herself in the mirror, her growing hair, the subtle changes in her face from the hormone therapy she'd started, and now this symbol of unconditional love and acceptance. For perhaps the first time in her life, she felt truly, completely at home in her own skin and in her place in the world. The next morning, Sam bounded down the stairs, her new necklace proudly displayed. Lisa noticed it immediately and pulled her into a warm hug. It looks beautiful on you, sweetie, she said, her eyes twinkling. Mark and David, always observant, peered at the necklace curiously.
Cool necklace, Sam,
David said.
Is it new?
Sam nodded, unable to keep the smile off her face. Uncle John and Aunt Lisa gave it to me last night. Mark grinned.
Ah, look at you, all sentimental and stuff.
Sam stuck her tongue out at him playfully, but she couldn't deny the warm feeling in her chest. These moments of casual acceptance, of being treated just like any other member of the family, meant more to her than she could express. As winter melted into spring, Sam found herself facing new challenges and opportunities. She had been excelling in her online classes and was considering applying to colleges for the fall semester. The prospect was both exciting and terrifying. One sunny afternoon, she was sitting at the kitchen table, surrounded by brochures and application forms, when John came in from work. "How's it going, college girl?" he asked, ruffling her hair as he passed. Sam sighed, pushing a strand of hair behind her ear. "It's overwhelming. There are so many options, and I'm not sure what I want to do or where I want to go, or if I'm even ready." John sat down across from her, his face serious. "Sam, I want you to know something. Whatever you decide, wherever you want to go, Lisa and I will support you.
If you want to stay close to home, that's great. If you want to go across the country, we'll help you make that happen. Your happiness and your future are what matter most." Sam felt a lump form in her throat. "But what about the cost? And what if I'm not ready to be on my own yet?" John reached across the table and took her hand. "First of all, don't worry about the cost. Your parents have a college fund set up for you, and Lisa and I are more than willing to help if needed. As for being ready, Sam, you're one of the strongest, most resilient people I know. You've faced challenges that would knock most people down, and you've done it with grace and courage. You're ready for whatever comes next." Sam squeezed his hand, blinking back tears. "Thank you, Uncle John. I don't know what I'd do without you and Aunt Lisa." John smiled warmly. "That's what family is for, kiddo. Now, how about we go through these brochures together? I might not know much about modern college life, but I can at least help you organize your thoughts." As they pored over the college materials, Sam felt a sense of excitement building. The future, which had once seemed so uncertain and frightening,
now held endless possibilities. She had a supportive family behind her, a growing sense of self-confidence, and a world of opportunities ahead. The weeks flew by, filled with college applications, family dinners, and the everyday moments that made up their lives. Sam found herself cherishing even the mundane tasks, helping Betty with the laundry, watching terrible reality TV shows with Mark and David, cooking dinner with Lisa. One evening, as the family sat around the dinner table, John cleared his throat.
"So, I have some news,"
he began, looking slightly nervous.
"I got a call from your parents today, Sam."
Thanks for watching. Check out Patreon if you want to have early access to the other parts. If not, it will be online in a couple of days.